How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. So after the very disappointing loss against the Lions, we suffered a lot of key injuries during the game, and we've gotten a slight update on some of those key players, and there's some good and some very bad. So to start off with the worst news, Rashan has been confirmed to tear his ACL, which will end his season and will also affect next season. And to put it into some context, Kylan Hill, who just returned to the active roster, actually tore his ACL in October 2021, and he's now just coming back. And as we've seen with Bakhtiari and Jenkins and Robert Tonyan, they've kind of came back early. They didn't go into late into the season and coming back, but they haven't been at their 100% capacity. So this is going to affect next year for us with Rashan, which is very disappointing. But hopefully he has a good, speedy recovery and a very good recovery because he is an amazing player for us. Next up, we have Romeo Doubs. He left the field on his own power, but he was seen after the game in a boot and crutches. It has been confirmed that he has a high ankle sprain, which is kind of a good thing because he has no fractures in his ankle, but he will most likely land on IR because usually that timetable for a high ankle sprain is about 4 to 6 weeks. So he is probably going to hit the IR, but he did avoid a significant injury and not actually fracturing that ankle, so that is a plus considering how bad it looked initially. Next up, Aaron Jones. It looks like he has avoided significant injury, and the MRI on his ankle came back negative, so it looks like he's actually good. He actually may return this week, although knowing the Packers, they might rest him this week, especially with the daunting amount of injuries sustained against the Lions. But the same cannot be said about Eric Stokes. He was also seen in a boot and crutches, and it looks like he could potentially miss several weeks with that ankle injury. There hasn't been any official word of what injury Stokes possibly sustained, but it's probably an ankle injury as well, probably a high ankle sprain as well. But it is looking like he is going to miss potentially several weeks. Then moving along to our offensive line that we've sustained injuries on. David Bakhtiari went out with a knee injury, but he was actually able to come back later on in the game. So it looks like whatever the possible knee injury, it's probably coming from when he tore that ACL and he had all the fluid. It looks like that knee injury is just going to become a reoccurring problem. And there has been no talk about if this will take him out of this week, but it's looking like he is probably going to just be on the typical week-by-week basis as he always is. So we won't really know till Saturday where his status truly lies. Then continuing along the offensive line, Jon Runyan did sustain a knee injury, but he was also able to come back during the game. His status is uncertain for the week against the Cowboys. He'll probably be fine, but in the instance that either David Bakhtiari or Jon Runyan cannot go this Sunday, I could see Zach Tom filling in for their respective positions as he did during the game against the Lions, filling in for both Runyan and then Bakhtiari once Runyan came back after a series. Then lastly, moving on to the last two players, Chris Barnes exited the game with a concussion. He's currently in concussion protocol and we'll know further on in the week where his status lies. Also suffering his second concussion is Christian Watson, and this one is a bit concerning. Not much reports have come out about his concussion or the concussion protocol, but it is the second one in back-to-back weeks. And usually in instances like where Tua sustained his second one where he probably shouldn't come back in the game in the first one, this back-to-back concussions, 2 concussions in a row, is very serious. Like, it actually impacts their mental health and their potential normalcy to live a normal life. So there hasn't been any word of what Christian Watson's status is for this week and where he's at in the concussion protocol. But in my personal opinion, especially with how this season goes and just for this man's well-being in his life, he should be shut down. And as much as it hurts to say that, considering he's had a very injury-prone and tough first year, especially as a second-round pick, it's not worth it, especially after sustaining back-to-back concussions. Like, my man's had very bad injury luck, and with how this season is, I don't think it's worth putting him on the field. Like, we should literally just shut him down and let him get back to normalcy. But I just wanted to make a video and an update on the countless injuries we seem to have sustained against the Lions over there at Ford Field, and where they currently reside, and the updates that we currently have. So let me know what you think down in the comments. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, go Pack Go.